Elisa with Jats Designs. In this video, I'm going to show you this resin curing machine that I was sent to try out by Jeezfee. I think that's right. I'll include links and discount codes in the description as always. And it comes with a detailed manual, as you can see. For the machine itself, there are 3 racks and a silicone extender. This makes it so you can use taller molds if you want, and the racks can be moved to any position, including the extender. If you're using this extender though, it does matter which direction you place it on the racks, above and below, to get a good fit, so just pay attention to that. You can also adjust the space between the racks by rotating them around so that either the pins rest on each other or next to each other. I do want to point out that this is not a cure all resins in 2 hours machine as they all claim. The type of resin you use makes a difference. The thinner it is, the longer it will take to cure, just the same as if you're letting it cure naturally. This is the only machine I've actually tried, but I'd assume it's similar with the other machines that are like this out there on the market. It all depends on the type of resin you're using. I first did a test where I had these little rectangles that I needed to dome, and I don't recommend using this to cure items you are doming. Only pretty much things that are in molds. Even though these little pieces were on a doming tray and they were fine when I started the machine, by the time it was done, some of them had spilled over and were ruined. Either because the racks are not level, or maybe just because of the vibration of the machine being on. I'm not quite sure what exactly caused it, but I know had they cured naturally, this would not have happened. I definitely recommend only using molds in a machine like this. Okay, on to the main reason for this video. I'll be using some JDiction epoxy, Color Joy items from Dryer Days Art Studio. I've got Small Bright Turquoise Stones, Mermaid's Dream Color Cream, and Bronze Metallic Color Cream. I also got these molds from Dryer Days as well. All right, I've got everything ready to go here. I'll go quickly through how I poured these since that's not the point of this video. I put just a little clear down, then the stones that I mixed with a little bit of clear on the side, and then I'll add in the Mermaid's Dream and then the bronze. I wanted to fill the molds up using as much resin as I could, so being very careful and keeping the racks as level as I could while moving them around, I filled up the molds most of the way. I grabbed another mold I got off of Amazon just to see how it fared in the machine as well. And since I had some extra resin still, I grabbed a square mold I had and I let that cure naturally for comparison. One thing I didn't like about this is that it's in Celsius, but the company did say they are working on getting a Fahrenheit one out for us folks in the US. The numbers do flash, but just because of the difference between the camera rate and how they light up, it looks like they're flickering, but they really don't. The 2 numbers on the left side are for time, which you can set from 1 to 12 hours. On the right side is the temperature. On this one, it goes from 35 to 70 degrees Celsius, which is 95 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Because this is new to me and I have quite a few different types of resin, I'll have to do several tests to find out what settings work best for each resin that I have. You'll want to do the same. Since I had no clue which one to use yet, I just did the straight up 2 hours at the highest temperature just to see what happens. And then you push the knob on the right in to start the machine. And I'm just showing the time on my watch so you can actually see how long I let everything happen for. I came back 2 hours later and the machine was still going. I stood there for a little bit to see if it would turn off, then gave up because I wanted to finish eating my dinner. So I set the camera down facing the machine to see how long it took to turn off. It actually only took another minute, and I'm guessing that was really the cool down minute that is described in the manual. Finishing my dinner took a little less than 5 minutes, and these were still good and warm when I came back. Pressing my nail on the surface, I got indents, and you can see that it is still very flexible at this point, but the resin is fully set. It did pop out of the mold easily. Here's a look at how the naturally curing one is doing at this point. It's setting up, but I know if I touched it, I would ruin it. It's very flexible still. Compared to the ones cured in the machine, they're different silicones, but still there's a definite difference when I press on them. Because they are still rather warm, I wanted to let them cool down about 10 minutes. And you can see this little piece I tore off earlier is still flexible, but definitely more stiff now that it has cooled down a bit. Even these lips are not fully cured yet, so they give under my nail. The coaster is still rather bendy, so I wanted to see if curing in the machine for another half hour would make a difference. It did a little bit. They're not as bendy, even though they are still warm. The naturally curing one is still very flexible and not fully set. I should have shown this at a better angle so you can see the difference better, but I was on a different surface than normal and using my phone to record, so I didn't even think about it. I let them cool down again. They've had about 40 minutes since I turned the machine off the second time. They are still easy to dent with my nail, but it definitely comes away from the mold easily. You can see that they are still able to be bent a bit, but nothing compared to the naturally curing one. This resin naturally takes over 24 hours to become fully cured and hard in a mold. So I think I'd want to do this one for maybe at least 4 to 5 hours in the machine for a harder cure. Definitely do tests with your favorite resins to see what works best for your needs. I do want to point out that the plastic the racks are made from are not plastic that resin releases from. It's really not a big deal, but if you get a good glob on there, it could cause your molds to sit wrong, so keep that in mind. All right, here we are the next day, about 21 hours from when I poured. The one that cured naturally is fully set and easily comes out of the mold, but you can see how flexible it is still. The ones I did in the machine are fully cured and hard. I think this machine can come in very handy when you want to get pieces in molds done quicker. So depending on your resin, you can get several sets done in a day. Let me know if you guys have one of these machines and what you think of it. Don't forget there are links and discount codes in the description. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.